Hello. The name of the workshop is Alone to Aligned, Finding Connection and Belonging. I hope you enjoy it. Who am I? Well, I'm Dr. Barbara Ciccarelli. I have a PhD in life writing and trauma. I started different types of coaching a while back, including academic and life coaching more recently. Um, I tend to have an international audience, and I just want to point out this is a 60-minute live Zoom session, but the recording might be a bit shorter. The goal of the workshop is to strengthen self-connection, embrace solitude. After all, the title is Alone to Aligned, and build authentic belonging. I just want to mention that there's a packet that goes with the workshop, and you can download that. It reinforces reflection, integration, and the next steps to turn insights into sustained habits. Now, excuse me, for icebreakers, I tend to go with think of a way of describing yourself in one word, just one word. And then I would like you to explain perhaps, and we can talk about them. Try this by yourself. For me, I can say one word would be excited, excited to make new connections, excited to start a new workshop, and excited to see where this goes in terms of your growth and my growth. I wanted to mention a little bit about my story about being single and how it became my turning point. Uh, I was divorced in 1994, and after 10 years together with my ex. And it was really challenging for me. Of course, at that point, I became single again, and I had to face all kinds of feelings that we're talking about in this workshop of desire for connection, having lost the main connection in my life at that point, a desire for belonging, and I tried different things to go to date, um, to keep my mind off my solitude. And I tried online dating for one thing, and that was hit or miss, I should say. But in the end, it's how I met the love of my life, who I'm with right now. Um, and yeah, here's a little script more in detail. I wanted to tell you from my own words before showing you the timeline. The divorce was about 30 years ago. I might be a little older than some of you, or not, maybe younger. I left for personal development. It was my choice. As I say here, one thing that's interesting is I regretted my decision, I think, because I found it so difficult to start over. And what happened was he agrees to meet me, but he brings his future wife with him. At the time, they were just dating. Um, he also included a book, a miniature book called Believe in Yourself, which at the time I didn't realize was the source of my problem with starting over. And I reached out for support, family and professionals, and the result was a finished dissertation and PhD degree. And as I said, meeting the man of my dreams, who I've been with about 25 years now. What I learned, the story I was telling myself that I couldn't find myself and grow unless I left, was only a story, and we can change our stories. So this is something we can discuss. So this workshop for you, if you want to believe in yourself, something I encountered, a problem I encountered 30 years ago, I guess. Do you want to believe in yourself? Do you want to feel good enough? This comes up a lot with perfectionists. Do you want to feel happy when you are alone? And do you want to stop chasing love and find clarity? So I know this is in larger text. I can't deliver everything today in one workshop, but at the end, I can explain how you can take it further if you want to. So let's start the transformation, or you could just say the growth. Um, the first statement, first of all, welcome. Thank you for coming to my downloading or watching the video or coming to the live session. Um, Sometimes being alone is how we return to who we really are. So we already did one word. We did icebreaker with one word describing yourself. Now I would like to do another where you talk about in one word or more one thing you enjoy doing alone. I'll give you a few seconds for that. Also, where are you joining from? I should let you know, if you don't know, that I'm joining from Amsterdam, and I tend to get a good number of people from Amsterdam who are my audience. One thing I enjoy doing is building websites, which can come in handy if you're starting a small business. Now, an icebreaker, write one word that describes what belonging means to you. And my mantra throughout this workshop is pause, reflect, reset, realign. The takeaway is presence. Okay, I'll just say what a word that describes belonging means to me. And I think belonging means to me connecting, being included and including myself, knowing myself, embracing authenticity and solitude. Alone is not lonely. Being alone can mean being fully with yourself. According to Brene Brown, who you might know or read her material, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be. That's a definition to hold on to, because the word authentic, being authentic and authenticity is being thrown around quite a bit today. Not that that's bad, but it seems like it needs some clarity. So I think this is a good definition, and you can decide this for yourself, of course. Did you know short periods of solitude increase creativity and emotional regulation? Reflection. What's one moment recently when you felt at peace by yourself? For me, I would say after I leave the gym and I'm walking home, I feel at peace with myself. I feel happy with myself, proud of myself, but also at peace with myself. Schedule 10 minutes of quiet reflection daily this week. Mantra, pause, reflect, reset, realign. The takeaway is authenticity, as we just discussed it. Letting go of the stories of yourself that are no longer necessary or don't fit. The power of self-connection. Evaluate your connections with self and others. Rate each 1 to 10 self-connection, close friends, family, academic work peers, community groups, and purpose faith. Who gives me energy and peace? When do I feel most authentic? What connections drain me? Where do I feel belonging and where not? Don't forget we have the packet you can download. Did you know the depth of connection, not the number of friends, predicts well-being? Some people count their connections rather than assess the quality. Strengthen one energizing relationship this week. Have you done that? I I think I have, and I also reached my hand out to strengthen it further. Mantra again will be throughout the workshop. Pause, reflect, reset, realign. And the takeaway is awareness. Building meaningful belonging. Belonging begins when we stop chasing approval and start showing up authentically. True belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. You might have found yourself wanting to join clubs or and sometimes you fit into the profile and sometimes you don't. Um, the question you might ask yourself, should you change to fit in? And according to Brene Brown, who I highly recommend you look into her works, it requires us to be who we are. Did you know people who express vulnerability form closer bonds 30%, 35% faster? According to Brene Brown, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. And you'll find other authors say this, other theorists. Where do I hide parts of myself to fit in? Do you do this? Do you hide parts of yourself to fit in? What are those parts and why those parts? And how do you feel when you're doing it? And how do you feel after you do it? Try this. Share something honest about your week with a trusted person. Mantra, pause, reflect, reset, realign. Takeaway is belonging. And then the title of this slide is Aligning Actions with Values. Alignment equals your values in motion. When your actions reflect your truth, loneliness turns into solitude. Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is. That's an interesting quote. Did you know values-based goals sustain motivation longer than external rewards? What value do I want to express more in my daily life? Compassion, trust, pride, happiness, patience, and there are many more. Choose one action this week that reflects that value. I think I would choose, well, I always choose patience. Um, and I have a friend, relatively new, who does texting at a much slower pace than I do. And I noted that I am giving him space to have his own pace. So I'm I am happy with that. It can also be with conversation, of course. It's a very common thing. Courage to be seen. Vulnerability is courage in action. When you show up authentically, the right connections find you. You either walk inside your story and own it, or stand outside it and hustle for worthiness. I think this might be my favorite quote. Walking inside your story, because you create that story through the choices you make in your life and through your history and your environment and the choices you make that come up from that. Do you know sharing personal stories increases empathy levels by 25%? You'll see a lot of academic writing and business writing that use stories for this very reason. And usually they're backed up by some kind of research because that's the type of expectation for that type of writing. But then, of course, there's autobiography, there's biography, there's a personal narrative, personal statements for jobs, all of which personal stories are included. Courage to be seen. Reflection. What's one story you've been afraid to share? Try this. Journal or speak one truth you've been holding in. Mantra. Pause, reflect, reset, realign, and the takeaway is courage. Integration and belonging in action. Belonging is built daily through intention, balance, self-connect, excuse me, balance, self-connection, and community connection. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay around people who don't. That's a pretty powerful statement. Did you know gratitude messages strengthen relationships instantly? It's very common in my field of coaching to exchange gratitude daily or over certain periods of time for that very reason. What small daily act could deepen your sense of connection? Send one gratitude message today. Pause, reflect, reset, realign, and the takeaway is gratitude. I'm trying to think what small daily act could deepen my sense of connection. I think being more um, discerning about my communication in terms of prioritizing when to communicate and when not to communicate. Reflection and journaling. What have I learned about myself through being alone? Where in my life do I feel aligned and where not yet? How can I nurture connection without losing authenticity? Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship. That's one that I would highly recommend you reflect on that and journal. And if you like, share with somebody. Try this week. End each day by naming one moment of alignment when you were who you are in connection and belonging. The mantra: pause, reflect, reset, realign. Sometimes people see the pause, like sometimes people are ashamed of the pause, or it makes them feel bad to pause. But pausing is very important to reflect and protect who you are. And then after pausing, of course, is reflecting and then making any changes that you feel you want to maintain your sense of self, to be realigned. Takeaway is alignment. Wrap up and commitment. Belonging starts within. Being alone doesn't disconnect you, it realigns you. The most powerful relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. That's Steve Maraboli. Did you know weekly reflection increases life satisfaction by 40%? That's a high percentage. What one commitment will help you feel more aligned this week? For me, and I think it's true for a lot of people, is to show up, to take part, to show up, to be who I am without apologizing. Um, but you have to answer this for yourself. Try this, write it down, share it, and take one small action today. Pause, reflect, reset, realign. Takeaway is commitment. This might sound surprising, but you are already connected to yourself, to others, to life. Okay, so the following information on this slide is for you watching the recording. The idea is to download the packet and work on the prompts. I just want to go back to the beginning to emphasize there we go. Alone to aligned, finding connection and belonging. That's the title of the workshop. And if you would like any more details or you're interested in the other workshops or coffee hours, or I also have several courses recorded, please contact me. You can also do private coaching or group coaching if we can gather enough people for the group. Otherwise, one-to-one coaching. That's all possible. And I hope to hear from you. Otherwise, maybe see you at one of the events. Bye-bye.